In the month of July, 61% of homes sold here in Orange County sold for under asking price. Yes, you heard that right. 61.2% of home sellers here in Orange County did not get what they were asking for in selling their homes. 61.2% is the highest level that we've seen since February of 2023, where we saw 65.9% of homes sell under the asking price. This is when homes started to become unaffordable. That's basically when rates had already jumped from back in 22. They started in January a little over 3%, around 3.25%, and up to October, they started jumping up to mid sevens. So that made homes begin to be unaffordable. So then when January of 23 came about, that's when we actually saw the most homes sell under the asking price. It was 73.8%. Most of the homes on the market did not get their asking price. That is crazy. But just to give you an idea of the difference in market, back in 22, when the rates were still low, the height of that market was April of 22. So only 14% of home sales sold under the asking price. I mean, that's nothing. It was a very, very hot seller's market. And I remember in Anaheim alone, the list to sell price ratio then was 107%, meaning sellers were getting 7% over their asking price on average. Like, that's insane. We are not seeing that today, thank God. Because I don't miss that market. And I bet you, if you were buying in that time, you don't miss it either. April of 22, 14%. Then you jump later to September of 22, a few months later, 60% of those homes are selling under asking price. It's crazy to see what the difference in a market can make in just a few months. Of course, we had a huge transition then. And now, fast forward, we're in this market where we've been stagnant on these high interest rates. I feel like we're a little luckier. The rates have kind of stabilized a little bit. We're under 7% now. We're not seeing those rates as much as we did back in 23 and 22. But nonetheless, it's still higher than we really want. Here's something really interesting though. If we're gonna go completely before this crazy COVID market, back in 2019 is when we were kind of seeing, well, I guess what was our regular market back then. We still had low inventory, but not as low as we have today. So back in July of 2019, we saw 69.8% of home sales close below the asking price. And believe it or not, that was a normal, steady, normally appreciating market. So it's not uncommon to have that many homes sell for under the asking price. Don't go crazy thinking that we're in a market crash, that it's a crazy buyer's market, and you need to offer crazy under asking price, because that's not the case. People are putting their homes on the market, but a lot of sellers are also not desperate. But on the flip side, not everything is selling under asking, and things are actually selling at asking or above. So to be exact, 12.9% of homes sold in July at asking price, and 25.9% sold over asking price. And the average amount for over asking price was $30,000. That's a really big jump. Like, can you imagine selling your home? You want $1 million, but you get $1,030,000 and you get an extra $30K in your pocket? Would you be mad? I know I wouldn't. But that's not normal for everyone, but that is the average for offers that are coming in over asking price, or homes that are selling over asking price. So let's actually talk about what that actually feels like in this market, because not all homes, not all cities are created equal. If you've got a home that maybe needs some work, maybe the photos aren't good, it's not marketed properly, maybe the home has a funky smell, a weird layout. If it's got something funky, most likely it's gonna sit on the market for a while. There are homes that are still selling within that first open house weekend, and you've got to jump on it. Those homes are the ones that are priced right, they're marketed well, they have great photos. You go inside, the photos look like the actual inside. It has a good scent to the home, it's got a good location. Those are the homes that are selling quickly, and those are the homes that you do need to offer a reasonable offer price to the seller, or you may not be considered. Keep that in mind when you're looking for homes, or if you are thinking about putting your home on the market. There's also things that you can do to spruce up a home to get more activity if it's not selling. That is something you could talk about with your favorite real estate agent. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about demand, because it's kind of typical that we see this happening where demand kind of slows down in the month of August. And that's because back to school, it seems like everybody goes on vacation end of July, early August, and just gets that last minute vacation in. And there is like this lull in real estate. It's happening again, just like it happens every single year. Don't freak out. It's normal. But something I see interesting is demand actually hasn't really slowed down too much, because since interest rates recently came down in the last couple weeks, it's actually sparked a little bit more interest. So there's been a few more buyers out in the market. You might have a little bit more competition on those homes that are great. But very interesting, because people are paying attention to interest rates. So if you're curious, they are at 6.6% today. Next, let's talk about the supply of homes. Again, typically in August is when the supply of homes, the number of homes that are for sale, it tends to peak. And I think we've already seen that. So as the months go by, we're going to see fewer and fewer homes hit the market, but then also demand takes a hit as well. The closer you get to the holidays, less buyers are looking, less people are putting their home on the market kind of slows down. But the people who are serious in buying and selling are continuing to do so throughout the rest of the year. And one of my favorite points is the days on market. How long does a home take to enter into escrow and find a buyer? This number is still really short. We still don't have a lot of inventory. We've been in a low inventory market for over a decade. Median right now in Orange County, drumroll please, is 17 days. That is quick, just a little over 2 weeks. You don't see the home that hits the market that could be the home of your dreams within that time, you could miss out. As I mentioned earlier, if it's one of those really hot homes that's really nice, great location, priced right, it's going to go faster than that. That is just the median. And in Anaheim, where, if you guys know me, I sell a lot of homes here, it's 14 days. I feel the reason for that, it's quicker than all of Orange County because homes are still affordable here. And there's so much construction going on and so much more demand because people see the upside of buying in Anaheim. With that being said, it's also got very low tax rate, among other things. Now the drum roll, please. We got to talk about market predictions. What is going to happen with this crazy real estate market that we're suddenly in a buyer's market? We're not in a buyer's market, y'all. It is a buyer's market for certain properties. It is a seller's market for certain properties. Pick your battle. So right now, I mean, really the past year, I'm looking at my MLS data, okay? In Orange County, the median home price has kind of hovered around the 1.2 million mark for a while. You know, it fluctuates. In Anaheim, right, currently it's at 850, but it's been hovering around 850 to 900 pretty consistently for about a year. If you look at this chart, you can kind of see the trajectory of the median home price, and it seems to have leveled off a little bit. So this could be a really good thing if you are looking to buy because, you know, maybe you're not going to have to deal with as much competition. And as the year goes by, towards the holidays, as I mentioned, it does make it a little bit easier. You have less competition to buy. But just keep in mind, you're not going to have as much to choose from. So you might have to do a little bit of sweat equity on your house. It's possible, very possible in September that we will get a rate drop. It is very possible. However, if we do not get a rate drop, I feel like the market's just going to stay the same. It's going to stay in the same demand pattern, supply pattern, and it's just going to continue out, and we won't see a super, super high amount of appreciation next year. If rates do come down, hold your horses. That's all I got to say. I think we might change up the market a little bit if rates come down. I mean, even if they come down 0.5%, if they drop to 6%, I've already seen it happen where there's a buyer frenzy. It takes that small amount to make a difference. And if you think about it, that 0.5% is going to save you hundreds of dollars a month on your mortgage. So did a little mortgage calculator action here. Based off of $1 million home, you put 20% down. From 6.5% to 6%, you're saving $260 a month. That's a big deal. There's a lot of potential for just that small 0.5% drop. So if we see that drop, expect appreciation to happen a little bit more rapidly. But our expert predictions from my favorite economist, Stephen Thomas, is expecting about a 5 to 7% increase in appreciation for the following year, so in 2026. So we'll see what happens in the coming months. Do you think that rates will come down, or are you just hoping for it? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments. And if I could be of any service to you in looking to buy or sell a home here in Anaheim or anywhere in Orange County, hit me up. You can always text me at the number below or set up an appointment with me through my Calendly link. All right. Thanks for watching. And I guess we'll see you next time, Anaheim and Orange County.